Hi everybody! If you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I am a gut health nutrition coach, so I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues, things like constipation, IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, bloating, indigestion, anything like that. And I use the principles of ancestral nutrition. I also have a root cause, holistic kind of approach, so we get to the root cause of why things are happening, and we heal everything very naturally with diet and lifestyle. So that's basically what I do, and on this channel I share gut health information. I share about ancestral nutrition and ancestral lifestyle and all things kind of like that. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the root causes and long-term solutions for constipation. So a little background in case you don't know, I had chronic constipation and IBS for over a decade, basically from age 5 to about 18. So I struggled with this for a long time. I was a kid, literally, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I tried a lot of things. I tried more fiber, I tried more veggies, I tried exercising, drinking water, that kind of stuff, and it just did not do it. I couldn't seem to get more than 2 to 3 bowel movements a week. So eventually, after doing more of my own research, studying nutrition and gut health in college and on my own and reading, I figured out how to heal. Now I have bowel movements practically every single day, sometimes twice a day. I've totally healed my gut issues. I don't have any bloating or gas, and I just feel the healthiest and most energized that I ever have. So I have a lot of experience with constipation. About half of my clients deal with constipation, and the other half usually deal with diarrhea. So these are very common gut issues. And also I want to emphasize that it took me forever to heal my constipation because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even really know at first that anything was wrong. So you can heal so much faster when you get help. It took me a really long time. Like, that's way too long to have constipation. And I guess I started trying around the time I was 14. So, more seriously, so about 4 years to figure out what to do is kind of sad. So if you want help a lot quicker, I can absolutely help you with that. I help my clients to overcome their constipation in as little as 2 or 3 months. Sometimes it takes slightly longer, but most of my clients that have constipation are having 5+ healthy, relieving, full bowel movements a week by 2 or 3 months into working with me. Like I had a client, Alexa, and by about two months it was of working together, she was having 5+ healthy bowel movements a week. So if you want some more help having healthy bowel movements and not dealing with constipation anymore, and you want more personalized help, be sure to stick around till the end and I'll talk more about what I offer. But for now, let's get into what I'm sharing today. And those are going to be those root causes and just this long-term solution. So last week, I shared a video about things you can do immediately to relieve constipation. So all of those were not really long-term solution root cause kind of stuff, but they can be helpful while you're on this journey. So while you are working on these long-term root causes and you're working on healing them, sometimes it can be helpful to have little things to do just to help promote bowel movements quickly and get that relief. So if you want to learn more about that, watch that video that I made last week. I will tag it up in the corner, whichever corner it is, and you can watch that. But essentially, those are very quick things and they aren't going to heal the root cause, and that's what we're talking about today. So let's see. Okay, so let's just get into these root causes. So number 1 is too large of stools, which are difficult to pass. If you have constipation, I'm sure you can relate to this right now. But when your stools are staying in your colon, they are compacting and getting larger. Also, the water is being absorbed out of your colon back into your body, so they're getting harder and drier too. But sometimes you just get these very large ones that just get wider and wider, and they're very difficult to pass. So there are a few things that cause basically your stools to get too big. So one is too much fiber in your diet. You've probably heard a lot to eat enough fiber, eat more fiber to relieve your constipation. While some fiber can be helpful for a lot of people, and there are a few benefits of fiber, I find the vast majority of people are eating way too much fiber for constipation, and it's just making things worse. So a little bit, okay? So like 2 servings of like fruit and veggies, or 3 maybe, you know, something like that is fine. But if you're having like a massive pile of like grains and veggies with each meal, that is probably worsening your constipation. So don't go too crazy with the fiber. Also, because I need to backtrack on this. Fiber adds bulk to your stools, so it's just going to make them larger. If they're already too large, if they're already too backed up, why would you add more to this whole sequence that's trying to get out? It's like adding more cars to a traffic jam, pretty much. So slow motility is another one. So if your colon is basically like moving too slowly, it does these little contractions. It's called peristalsis, or something like that. I'm messing it up. It's been a little while. Anyway, that move your feces along. So if it is too slow with that, things are going too slow, then all this water is being absorbed back into your body, and it's making your stools drier and drier. And when they're drier, they're just a lot harder to pass, and they're also compacting more and more. Poor digestion is another cause of too large of stools. I'm talking about root causes, and then I'm talking about the root causes of the root causes. That's really how things go in health. So poor digestion. If you are not digesting your food properly, you are not going to be breaking it down fully and extracting all those nutrients out of it. And you are going to have more waste from the food you eat that needs to be excreted in your bowel movements. So it's really important that you are relaxed when you eat, and everything in your digestion is functioning properly, so that you don't have all this extra waste that you have to get rid of. And then you're not making giant stools that you have to pass out. So then one more cause for this is if you've been backed up for a while and just haven't gotten things out, it's just snowballing in there. You're getting more and more, and you really just need something to flush that out. And I'll talk more about that in a bit, but just realize if this is something that's happened for a while and you have not been able to efficiently get this out, you just have a lot of feces really stuck in your bowels that need to come out. Okay, so the second root cause is stress. So basically, stress is going to put your body into the sympathetic state, the fight or flight state, and your body is going to be preparing for some kind of danger, because this is how it was used in nature. Stress usually occurred when you were fighting an animal or a person, or there was some natural disaster or some kind of thing like that. It's to help keep you alive. But you do not digest well, and you cannot have bowel movements when you are super stressed, because your body has diverted all these nutrients, the energy, the blood, out of your digestive tract and into your muscles and your nerves and all these things in your heart, and all these things you need to be able to function very quickly, to have fast reflexes, to run, to fight, to do any of those kinds of things. So we really, really need to work on stress if this is an issue for you, so that you are calm and really in that parasympathetic state when you go to have bowel movements, and ideally just through most of the day. So being not stressed while eating is going to allow you to digest your food better, so you're going to have less waste. And then also being very relaxed is going to allow your anus, which is a sphincter, to actually open enough to let your bowels out, because sphincters do not like to open when you are stressed. Another example of this is with birth. Your cervix is also a sphincter, and it's really, really important to be relaxed to help dilation. So that's just an interesting comparison there. But so stress affects a lot of things, and I'll get into that a little bit more later, but realize that it's really important to manage stress if you want to have regular bowel movements. So then number 3 is fluid imbalance in the colon, which basically leads to hard to pass dry stools. So you'll probably notice in these root causes and the root causes of the root causes, there's a lot of overlap, and it's kind of like a web of causes. So I just kind of tried to organize it in a way that would be more helpful to explain, but this is very common with like every system in your body pretty much. There are root causes, there are root causes of the root causes that are the same as the other, and they're interconnected. But anyway, hope it makes sense for you. So number 3, fluid imbalance in the colon. So when you don't have enough fluid going to your colon, it can lead to dry stools, or basically if they're staying in there too long because you have slow motility issues, then the fluid is being absorbed back into your body, and that's going to cause issues. Gut dysbiosis, so if you have an imbalance in the microbiome, can also cause this, because the pathogenic microbes are very gas producing, and some of these gases actually affect how fluids are drawn to or away from your colon. So when you have gut dysbiosis, that can cause constipation if the gases get produced that basically draw fluid away from the colon, or it can cause diarrhea if you get the gases producing that are causing fluid to go to the colon, or you can get these like bipolar microbes that are going back and forth, and that's where you get alternating constipation and diarrhea. So yeah, that's one way. Mineral deficiencies can also lead to fluid imbalance. Minerals are very linked with hydration and where fluid flows, and minerals play a big role in how our colon is functioning as well. And then dehydration too. You probably heard that a lot, and it's one of those common things, like drink more water. And a lot of times if you have chronic constipation, just drinking more water, it's like, okay, this didn't do anything. And it's just that you have other root causes as well. It rarely will fix everything to drink water, but that doesn't mean drinking water isn't important. And also really drinking hydrating beverages. So adding a pinch of quality salt to your water, like Redmond's real salt, or like Celtic salt, gray salt, anything like that, like a really good quality mineral salt. We don't want like table salt or iodized salt or anything like that. So adding a pinch of salt to your water, having like juice or sparkling juice that you make that's 100% juice with no added sugar, having that, and you want it with a meal to balance the carbs of the juice, so you want to make sure you have protein with that. But you can do that, you can have milk, you can have bone broth, coconut water, aloe juice, things like that are very hydrating, because we want the water but we want the minerals too. So yeah, make sure you're drinking hydrating beverages. And then let's see. So then number 4 is going to be slow motility, which is going to lead to hard to pass stools that are too large and dry. So basically what's going to slow down the movement of your colon is going to be stress, because you're in that fight or flight. You're not focusing on digesting and alleviating your bowels. So that's going to slow things down. If your stools are very large, it's going to slow things down, because they're just going to be harder to move. If you have weak muscles in your colon, that can also cause this. And that is often caused by excessive enema or laxative use. So if you're using those a lot, those muscles aren't working and they're getting weaker. So that's important to remember as well. And then number 5 is going to be a physical blockage in your colon. So that could be that you've just been constipated for so long and have been not great about getting it out, and you just have stools that have been stuck in there for a while, and maybe you're getting some things out, but you really need to be getting everything out regularly. And there's always going to be different parts of digested food at different parts in your colon, and even if you're fasting, your body still has dead tissues and cells to get rid of, so there's gonna be things at different parts. But essentially you just want to make sure you're getting everything that's coming into your intestines out within a day or two, because the intestines are very, very long. So yeah, you want to make sure you're flushing things out. So if you're not, and things are kind of stuck in there, it's going to leave less room for the new stools, and you're just going to get more and more backed up and blocked up. One more thing that's worth mentioning, which is not super common, but it can happen. So it's good if you've tried a lot of things and you still aren't seeing results. It's good to be aware of. You can get a blockage from a parasite. So like parasitic worms I'm talking about. So some of them can grow quite large, like tapeworms can grow really large. I think there's a few others that can grow quite large as well, but like pinworms and hookworms are pretty small. But pretty much if you have parasite issues and you have a very large parasitic worm in your colon, that can make it harder to pass. So if that's the case, you want to do some parasite cleansing, which is beyond the scope of this video today, but I just wanted to mention that that is a possible root cause. And then also I also want to mention ignoring the urge to go can kind of basically be like a wasted opportunity. You could have had a bowel movement. So if you repeatedly ignore that urge to go, that will lead to more constipation over time and can kind of weaken your urges, and maybe you won't get them as much either. So that's another thing to note. So basically the root causes, to sum up, are essentially too large of stools, stress, fluid imbalance in the colon, slow motility, and physical blockages. So if you can kind of figure out a little bit of which ones of these are applying to you specifically, that's super helpful, and you can use that in creating your like long-term plan. But I'm also just going to go over the main most important things to do that will kind of cover all the bases. So in your long-term plan to heal constipation, and I phrase it that way just because it will take a couple of weeks, it might take a month, it might take 2 months to really start to see the results. You should be seeing some results at least within like a month or two, probably a month, but I just want to emphasize that if you're doing all these things and you've been doing them for like 3 or 4 weeks and you're like, hey, I'm not healed yet, it's like, okay, it takes a little bit of time for your body to heal an issue that's probably been going on for 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever years. It's not necessarily going to reverse immediately, although it is pretty amazing how quickly you can start to see some results. So just keep that in mind. But essentially what you want to do is fix your diet. So you want to be eating a very ancestral diet. And I have a whole video on this, so I'll talk, I have a whole video on this, but basically an ancestral diet is eating the way our ancestors did. Yeah, I'll link it up. I'll link the ancestral video diet up in the little corner. Okay, I can't talk now. Anyway, so basically you're eating a lot of animal foods. You're eating nose to tail, so you're eating a lot of the animal. You're eating fermented foods, veggies, fruits, and properly preparing your grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds is just, in a very quick nutshell, kind of the dietary stuff that you want to do. You want a very nutrient dense diet. So you also want to support every part of your digestive system. So you want to be relaxed, you want to chew your food thoroughly, you want to be getting enough nutrients to make digestive enzymes and stomach acid, you want strong enough stomach acid, so there's some habits you can do to support that. You want to eat easy to digest foods, you want to relax after you eat, various things like that. You want to support your gut microbiome to make sure you are really digesting food properly, because each part of our digestive system, from our mouth to our esophagus to our stomach to our small intestine, large intestine, it has a job to do, and when it doesn't do the job well, it passes this burden on to the next. So if you don't chew your food thoroughly enough, your stomach has to work harder. And if your stomach acid is low, then your small intestine has to work harder to break down that food, and so on. So if any part before your colon, which is any other part, isn't working efficiently, it can make it harder to have a bowel movement. So that's really important. You want to balance your gut microbiome, which I just touched on, eating lots of fermented foods, avoiding sugar, alcohol, stress, things like that. Like hand sanitizers, antimicrobial soaps, those can really wreck up your microbiome, antibiotics, things like that, avoiding those. Let's see. Another thing that can be really helpful is to do kind of a quick colon cleanse. So to do some enemas, I like coffee enemas are really good, or even to take some more natural laxatives. I talked more about both of these in that video I made last week on like the short-term solutions. But yeah, just kind of flushing everything out can be really helpful in case you do have some blockages, or just kind of restarting and just flushing it all out. It feels really good. You feel very light. So that can be really helpful, just to kind of give you a fresh start, or from time to time at the beginning to just keep things moving. You also want to manage stress. That's going to be very, very important. I made a whole video about that recently too, so I'll link that one in the corner as well. And now I just have to remember to link those 2 videos. Exercise is also really important. Exercise helps to, if you're getting your body moving, it really just helps move your digestive system along a little bit too. Running, lifting weights, things like that, even stretching can help a little bit. So that's super helpful for long-term health and just getting your bowels moving. And then also getting in a good morning routine for having a bowel movement. So I've talked about this a lot before, but going to the bathroom around the same time each day, waiting for that urge, giving yourself at least 15 minutes to try to go, and then just being very relaxed, not overthinking it. You can go on your phone, you can read a book, whatever you want, but just that relaxed time. It's also best if you're in a squatting position. You can buy that squatty potty thing you can look up, or you can just squat on your toilet. This will align everything properly, so it's a lot easier to have a bowel movement. But just getting in that regular routine. And if you don't have an urge, still get in this habit anyway, and it can help you to develop that urge. And then also, you can hire someone to get help. This is what I specialize in, and you can absolutely just try all of these things yourself, but it's really helpful to have someone like walk you through the process. Even in this video, I kind of just touched over a lot of things that I go way more in depth in with my clients. I explain how to incorporate the ancestral diet more, what each meal looks like. I have my clients do food logs. I look over their food logs. I look over their nutrient consumption. We talk about what's going on in their life, what's going on in their diet, and really tailor things to you. So if you want the most efficient results, if you want to heal your constipation very quickly, the best way to do that is to work with someone. So if you do want that personalized help, or even if you decide to try these things on your own and then stuff just still isn't quite clicking all the way, you're not getting quite the results you want, and you want to dig deeper and figure out how to really overcome your constipation and any other gut issues that you have, then I would love to talk to you more about what I offer with my program, Ancestral Gut Healing, and just see if it's a good fit for you and see if it's something that you'd be interested in. So if you'd like to learn more about ancestral gut healing and work with me, or potentially work with me, then you can go ahead and book a call. I will leave a link below. And it's a free call where we just get to know each other. I will share about the program, and then if you want, you can sign up. So yeah, I would love to talk with you if you would like to talk with me. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, if you could like it, subscribe, give me a comment, share it with someone you know. All of those things help me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon.